Hello and welcome to Boss Rush Island 5. Today we're going to be using Sauda and one tech bot only. This is a pretty easy boss, however, without the spike factory, it's a lot harder for us to be able to afford the boomerang paragon, so we're not going to do that, and we're just going to go spam aces pretty much. Starting off with Sauda and a spy plane with rapid fire. Of course, use Wing Monkey if you have it. It is by far the best targeting. I've tried out other starts. I really tried to get the boomerang paragon, but it just didn't work out, or you would die after you get it, and it's just not worth it. Alright, so I do this on mobile actually, believe it or not, but pretty much we just tech bot Sauda and go for an Operation Dart Storm as soon as possible. Now, after the third pop is done, you actually can buy Operation Dart Storm in between pops, which is a little bit funny, kind of rare to see in boss rush videos this early, but you know, that's just the start we're going for. And pretty much we're going to go straight into Operation Dart Storm spam and a Sky Shredder, right? And that's going to be able to take out most of the boss, you know. Very sorry about that, I didn't even notice I had my notifications on until after this was recorded, but yeah, that's just my Discord. We were talking about the boss rush. But pretty much we are spamming down the Operation Dart Storms. I don't have too much to say. It's a very simple boss run, okay? This is very easy. You can do things slower if you don't want as high of a score. Of course, after you get 4 Operation Dart Storms, get a Glue Strike with Corrosive Glue Crosspath and just use it whenever you can. It is more efficient than going for more Operation Dart Storms, so that's why we do it. And get your 5th Operation Dart Storm down, and now we're going to save for a Sky Shredder. Once you use the Glue Strike and have about $12,000, you can afford it, but if you are missing some Monkey Knowledge, or if you want to be safer, you can wait till like $14,000, $15,000. The next thing we'll be getting after the Sky Shredder is an overclock for it, most efficient way by far. And now we're tech botting the overclock. Actually, remove the tech bot because later on we're getting a Flying Fortress and we'll want to overclock that instead. Sorry about that. Yeah, just manually overclock for now. I know, it's a lot of work, but we're going to overclock it like once or twice. Now, I do end up using 3 overclocks total throughout this video and 2 Glue Strikes, so if you're really lazy and you want a higher score and you're willing to cough up 150 monkey money, then you can use 3 tech bots. However, I really don't think it's needed. I personally think that 1 tech bot's okay, and even if you're messing up a little bit, it doesn't really affect the run at all. So yeah, we're just going to put down 4 Operation Dart Storms and our Glue Strike again. If you've been looking at the screen, you would have known I've done that already. Now we're going for the Spectre. Make sure you're buying Metal Crosspath, and once you get $20,000 after you get the Spectre, okay, do not make the mistake of doing it before. Yeah, once you get 20,000 more dollar dues, you can sell everything except for the overclock, and you'll see how we have the overclock ability up already. So now we will use the overclock and then upgrade to Flying Fortress. This way we get full uptime. And 20,000 is a little bit safe. You could have done it with 15,500 if you sold the last Operation Dart Storm, but it's just a little risky, so I'd rather keep up 1 Operation Dart Storm, okay? Sue me, maybe I lost out on 2,000 damage, whatever. Here, I actually decided to get up the Sky Shredder before I get a second overclock, which I only do because I got the overclock on the tier 4, which gets 100% uptime, and then you get the next ability, which does most of the rest of the uptime. And so I got an overclock, which I used on Spectre, of course, and then I untech botted my overclock so that I could make this one timed out, but much better, right? So for the overclock timing, all you're going to want to do is make sure that your big plane, your Flying Fortress, gets full uptime, which means that around 2/3 of the way, or half, right, as long as it is in between 1/3 and 2/3 of the way after the first overclock, you do the second overclock, and it'll work. I hope I'm explaining that okay. I get that it's not the easiest to understand, but yeah, not that bad. Up next, we're going to buy a couple of Operation Dart Storms, and then get our Glue Strikes back up. I do think you could do the build order a little bit differently, but these aren't really going to matter too much, right? The Glue Strike does actually give the, yeah, and I turned down my effect scaling so that things are easier to see. But anyways, the Blue Strike gives a very nice boost. It ends up being like 10% to even the Flying Fortress, so you should probably get them before the Operation Dartstorms, but build order doesn't matter too much. I know some people who are getting 95 pops without any Blue Strikes the entire time, so it really only adds a little bit. If this guide's been helping out so far, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. Alright, and after we get 4 Operation Dartstorms, you may be wondering, Eli, how did you pick 4? Where is this magical number? I guessed it, alright? The rest of the run earlier, my early optimizations, they were really me being perfect. Okay, I was going into sandbox mode, I was really testing it out. And then here I just decided, alright, we're going to get Cripple Moab. I set it to strong and camo targeting. I'm not really entirely sure how the targeting works, because I swear sometimes I see it target like a ZOMG, but strong should definitely target the boss, so I'm not sure what's wrong with it. Like, if you look down there for a second, it was definitely hitting a ZOMG, but whatever, it's fine. From here on out, I've stuck it at 250% speed. This is just because, you know, I'm going pretty slow with getting the Operation Dartstorms, and I kept it slow a lot of the times so that I can overclock correctly. Pretty much, with our 3 overclocks, always overclock the Flying Fortress, and occasionally we're overclocking the Sky Shredder, right? So you want full uptime on Flying Fortress, and you'll get about 2/3 uptime on the Sky Shredder. It's not too complicated with the tech bot, it really helps out. I just had my tech bot set to the Sky Shredders, and then I manually did the 2 for the Flying Fortress, and then you want to make sure that their timings are spread out enough to have full uptime. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I do believe you could get 98 pops, because I end up messing up some at the end. I overclock things that shouldn't be overclocked, whatever. After you have spanned the literal entire map with Operation Dartstorm, you can start to get up other things. I get an Elite Defender here. I would recommend you also get the Middle Path Sniper. I didn't really think of it, but it buffs the other 2 snipers, which means that it's completely worth it. And I just go for a Middle Path Wizard. I don't really think it's that worth it, but probably does more damage than the Operation Dartstorm. I really don't know, and it really is not going to matter. What matters is the fact that I'm messing up my overclocks. But anyways, if this video helped you out, be sure to leave a like, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.